So we'll go from fake news to fake news. Now, you all remember we're gonna talk about Randy Hillier. We're gonna talk about Randy Hillier. I had David Anber, his attorney, on. I don't know what day of the week it is anymore. Was it last night or the night before? It was the night before. Had David Anber on to discuss Randy Hillier's day in court on Monday to discuss his bail terms, his release terms, because for those of you who don't know, Randy Hillier, a sitting member of provincial parliament, was arrested on, there were 8 or 9 charges. The classic crap, inciting mischief, mischief itself, counseling people to disobey court orders and mischief, whatever. But there was a serious charge: intimidation and assault on a police officer. And I said, like, all of the other charges, I can understand how it might have taken 30 plus days to navigate his social media posts, to see what other things he might have done, what crimes he may have committed based on his social media posts. We found the tweet that was the object of his alleged incitement to mischief, or incitement to commit an uncommitted felonious act. That was when, allegedly, according to the media, he told people to flood emergency lines, to call in and flood emergency lines. We found that tweet. Arguably did not say what it should have said. It did not say what people purported it said. It was in response to an Ontario police tweet which said, "Don't call in emergency lines, don't call in structural lines." Something along those lines. It was bifurcated to don't call in emergency lines and don't call in lines which are not emergency lines. Randy's response to that tweet was, "Keep calling. In a democracy, you have the right to make your voices heard." Something along those lines, missing the punctuation. The media ran with that to say he told people to call the emergency lines, to flood them. It's going to cause all sorts of problems. After that tweet, people did call it. Okay, fine. I can understand that charge. I can understand why it took some time to find the evidence for that charge. It'll be up to the Crown to prove beyond a reasonable doubt both the actus reus and the mental element, the mens rea of committing that crime. Did Randy intend for people to call emergency lines or the non-emergency structural lines? We'll get there, but whatever. All that to say, the media coverage of that charge was inaccurate, to put it mildly. So where I had some great skepticism and a great deal of difficulty understanding how it took over 30 days to find these charges were the intimidation and assault of a police officer. That's the type of incident that if it occurs, you're in jail within a few minutes, if not the same day. You don't intimidate and assault, or intimidate and or assault a police officer, and I think it's and then go home and then wait 40 days before the police realize I was intimidated and assaulted. You go to jail pretty much the same day. So I said, as a joke, tongue in cheek, the only way that charge makes sense is if the police decided they had to go fish through online video, to see if there was ever a place where Randy Hillier assaulted, by virtue of some behavior that we can misconstrue in the videos, a police officer. I said it as a joke, and then hearing the hearing before the officer of the peace officer that was issuing the bail terms, I heard her refer to a video in which Randy Hillier used a barricade in the alleged assault, because during the hearing, when the parties, Anber and the prosecution, agreed on 14 of the 15 conditions of the release, and they litigated one, which had to do with what he could post on social media, the judge, out of the blue, sua sponte, of her own volition, said, "Oh, are we not adding on any weapons charges, any weapons conditions to the terms of release?" And then someone said, "Well, the only alleged weapon of the assault was the barricade." It's like, oh, holy cows. This sounds like what I jokingly said it might be. And I went to go find what could be the video. What could only be the video, unless there's another video out there that the Crown has that they will disclose in due time. But from what I understand, by the way, this is the video that serves as the basis for the assault charges. Wait until you see this. Let's not spoil the punchline here. My understanding, and if I am wrong, I will correct myself, if the Crown discloses video evidence of the alleged assault and intimidation that is not this particular video, I will correct and make that loud and clear known for everybody so they can see firsthand the evidence that supports the claim that Randy Hillier allegedly intimidated and assaulted a police officer. But my understanding is that this is the video. Watch this.
Let's go.
Go. Let's go. Go.
Now, and just appreciate the reason why I think this is the video, because they also made mention of Maxime Bernier being there at the time. And if you look behind Randy Hillier in the green jacket, wait, no, not the green jacket. Where's Maxime Bernier?
Let's go. Go.
Maxime Bernier is right there in the fluffy thing behind the purple hat. That's Maxime Bernier. This is the video, people. From what we can see, let's just do it one more time, people, because it happens so quickly, as do all assaults. He moved the barricade.
Go.
I think the police officer is in front of him. He goes, moves it again.
Let's go.
I'm not even sure what good it does to move it more to the other side, which already was not blocking the stairs. And then you got Randy there. Okay, and that's it, apparently. That is, from what I understand, the video justifying, or that the Crown is using to support the charges of assault on a police officer. It would be an interesting debate to start with your brother. Who is the greatest comedian who was born in Canada? Now I'm traumatized, and I can't bring up a chat now without reading it first. Jagmeet is the big, and I tell you one thing, on this channel, you have freedom of speech, with the exception of overt calls to violence, threats, and I mean, that's pretty much it. Threats and violence, and objective harassment. That's the video, by the way. So we'll see. I mean, you can write the defense yourself. The Crown has to prove the allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. But like I said on Monday, half of the punishment is the process. In the meantime, Randy Hillier is a sitting member of Parliament, of provincial Parliament, who has his speech limited and restricted, who has his mobility. Yeah, he has his mobility restricted because there's a certain part of Ottawa that he can't go to. So yeah, that's great. Just trump up bogus charges, make his life hell, compromise his ability to do what he was elected to do. And if he's found innocent at the end of the day, after having paid, all the costs of an attorney, the system works, right? Verbal assault. No, I don't think that was it. I think that was the incident. And the joke, the thought experiment, the how absurd can reality possibly be? It is just as absurd as I thought it was. They had to go fish around social media posts in the hopes of possibly finding one video that can be superficially misinterpreted so that they can trump up these bogus charges. Because the mischief is no one takes it seriously on its face in terms of a serious criminal accusation. Yes, you can go to jail for 10 years for felonious mischief. And by the way, I believe indictable in Canada. I believe they're proceeding by indictable offense and not summary conviction. So they're going hard on this. But you get charged with mischief, and everyone's like, okay, well, mischief doesn't even sound like a serious crime. But you get charged with assaulting a police officer. People take that seriously. That's a serious accusation. Then you find out what the underlying video evidence is. Apparently, there will be full disclosure of the evidence, as the Crown is obligated to do in any criminal or quasi-criminal proceeding. But thus far, I think that's it. And I don't think there's another video out there. So that's it. That is, they're silencing Randy for the Ontario election because there's an election coming up in June, apparently. Yep. I slapped a cop like Will Smith. I got jailed in, but no charges on my case. Dude, don't slap police officers. There's never a really a good excuse to slap someone for their words to begin with. But you slap a police officer, you physically assault, you touch a police officer, for right or wrong, you're asking for it. You are picking a fight you can't win, and you're starting a fight you don't want to start. I read Hillier's tweet as keep calling it a democracy, expressing yourself as a fundamental freedom. No, see, I read it. It said keep calling in a democracy, expressing yourself as a fundamental freedom. So I read it as keep calling the non-emergency lines, keep calling the infrastructure, keep calling your councilman, keep calling whomever in a democracy, expressing yourself as a fundamental freedom. That's how I read it. But it is a dangerous tweet in that context. Don't listen to the police keep doing it, especially when they're looking for an excuse. So anyways, that's the Randy Hillier. I mean, we'll keep following it, but when I went out and looking, the tweet is arguably misinterpreted, but fine. That's it's a tenable interpretation of the tweet. Keep calling. When the police say don't call in the emergency lines, it will be misconstrued, and it's probably not. It's not the most responsible thing to do at the time. Criminal? We'll see. Let me see here. Hold on. How do I bring this out? Cancel. Let's see this. Calling in the act of checking your peers and getting them to change problematic behavior by explaining their misstep with compassion and patience. I agree. You may not succeed in doing it, but that is better than the alternative. Was his terms of release that he should not use nor be found in possession of barricades? No, and the judge the parties had not discussed it, but the judge, sua sponte, there's another word for it, of her own volition, brought up an element, an element that was not discussed, and probably for a reason. It was not ignored by the parties. It was just not relevant to either of the parties, but the judge brings it up. On the one hand, it could throw off all of the discussions if a less than forthright prosecutor says, "Ooh, the window is open for me now. The judge just brought it up, and I can seize on this to say, yeah, let's throw that in there." I mean, I don't know if they hunt. I presume they do. It's hunting season coming up. Just throw in another charge that compromises one's ability to have the life that they want. So yeah, that was it. That's punctuation is important. Yes, punctuation is important, but absence of punctuation should not be criminal. I just think that tweet can be misinterpreted, and that tweet can be interpreted to say keep calling in the emergency lines. And if people did it, then it's going to be the question of, are you responsible for people acting like morons? Soon will be arrested for future bad thought, like in the movie Minority Report. Well, you know what? Let's bring that up. Good segue. Sheriff, thank you. Good segue. Let me just bring this up here.